The expression is only in the form of questions and doubts and no solutions. Because solutions are with us and they cannot enter into the brain cells in the form of mind. Because the brain cells do not permit us to enter directly and express. Perfect healers like Ramana Maharshi and others, they are those whose brain cells are purified and perfected. Spiritual mechanism is completely tuned so that they are able to enter into the brain cells totally, transmit what they want to give us totally. When we are in their presence, we too exist in the same state, and the result is we will have only solutions and no doubts or questions. Once again, when we come away home, we have our own brains filled with imperfect brain cells. It is like magnets containing an alloy of aluminum. The magnet in us tries to work perfectly, but the alloy of aluminum comes in the way and it does not permit to act the magnet perfectly. That is why people used to recollect their questions when they came back from Ramana Maharshi and wonder why they did not remember their questions. Now you will understand how a healer, real spiritual healer will be. He never closes himself in loneliness in a room or in a cave in a forest, but he will be always with people. During your training also, you should learn to be with people, not to be influenced by people, but to influence people in a good way. Unless you are mixing with people, you cannot influence people. And while practicing healing, you are always successful when you practice in groups. You will never be a success when you practice healing as a single person. An institute like this is very convenient and comfortable to practice healing. There should be a possibility of a community living, but it should be something different from the communities we know in the Occident. We have all evils in our communities in the Occident, but we should leave off evils and we should have community life. You should be powerful enough to pick up what is good and leave what is not good. Now, after a long time, after the industrial revolution, the Occidental mind is just coming out of industrial mind, trying to live a community life. But previously, it was necessary that everyone should have his own room to live. Even now there are many people in the Occident who cannot live without having his own room. Here the Orientals have great advantages because more than 50% of them are accustomed to live in great groups. When there is one such hall in our houses, all of us live in the same hall. So the economic conditions in India produce conditions that are conducive to become a spiritualist. Even from India also, we should pick out what is good and leave off what is not good. And we have to teach them what is good from us, and we have to leave off what is very bad in the Occident. Then only we will be healers in real sense. A good spiritual and yogic community living is necessary to become a healer. I have observed many spiritual communities in the Occident since these 10 years. With what great speed new spiritual communes are developing, I am observing. 5 years ago when I came here, this institute was in its beginning. I found with what great speed it has gained its strength and it has gained its perfect shape, and now I understand with what iron discipline the yoga teacher is creating order and discipline among these people here. If you want to heal and want to become spiritual healers, and if you cannot appreciate what discipline is, it is not possible for you to develop as healers. Anyone should undergo discipline and know what time is and what place is. You should be able to attend your practices strictly according to time. Discipline yourself to sit in the same place where you sat yesterday, and in the same posture you begin to sit every day. And when you sit for spiritual healing classes, it is absolutely necessary to sit in perfect rows. It is absolutely necessary to sit in perfect rows, horizontally and vertically also. When we sit one behind the other in perfect order and one by the side of the other in perfect order, just as you see the armies and the soldiers in an army, then only healing becomes possible in its ideal sense. You can question me why. It is because every one of you is a magnet of some expression of life and mind, and every magnet has its own polarity, its own south pole and north pole, and its own polarity of mind, that is its own strong likes and strong dislikes. Every one of you have every one of you will like some things and dislike something.
Et n'aime pas d'autres.
The strength of your likes and dislikes is always much more strong than those in the Orient. In India or China or Tibet, people cannot like very strongly or cannot dislike very strongly. And you can like, if you like a person, you can like him very strongly. If you hate a person, you can hate him very strongly. That is, the individuality of the Occident is very, very strong and powerful. That means each one is a very strong, powerful magnet by himself or herself, generally not accepting the magnetism of another. But when you know how to arrange the magnets, you know that two magnets work as only one magnet. If you arrange one magnet of another with like poles, then the two magnets are fighting each other like two strong ladies in the same house. But if you can place the magnets with unlike poles upon each other, they will not only attract each other close together, but they begin to work only as half magnets to each other, and the two put together work as one magnet. That is what happens when you know how to sit in a healing school. In any type of spiritual practice, let it be yoga or healing or meditation or liberation, let it be karma yoga or bhakti yoga or jnana yoga or japa yoga, laya yoga or the unfortunate tantra yoga, whatever it may be, if you know how to group people, then each individual becomes a part of the group and the group works as one person. Only when such a thing is possible, the healing magnetism passes as a healing current through your bodies. See how the electrical batteries are arranged in connections. If you are not capable of connecting them, each electric cell works for itself and no two cells will combine to act. You should know this art with human beings if you want to know healing. Then you begin to practice yoga, keep your bodies fit and regulate your intestines, stomach and liver. Not with medicines, but with practicing of relaxation, practicing of the art of breathing and having some asanas which are suitable to you, and practicing the art of meditation in its scientific sense, not what we think meditation roughly. Then instead of medicines, you can use your food materials as medicine. You can make a proper grouping of the foods you eat. Take all the salads into one group, uncooked foods, and fruits another part of uncooked foods. Consider all the fruits uncooked into another group. And sometimes in the West there are certain unscientific methods in food. People cook fruits and eat here sometimes. They eat cooked bananas and cooked pomes and In Eastern countries, they don't cook these things. So you should also avoid cooking and eating these things, which is not necessary, and also it makes the fruits useless when cooked. So you, in your mind, you divide all the uncooked foods into one group, all the leaves of the salads in one group, all the roots like carrot, beetroot into another group, all the fruits and fruit juices into another group, and all the cereals uncooked into one group, and cereals cooked into another group. Understand that cereals uncooked will heal diseases, whereas cereals cooked create diseases. We should not feel insulted when we hear such remarks, because both in the Occident and in the Orient, we have a great bad habit of cooking cereals and eating. The habit has taken such a deep root in mankind that we find it unnatural if anyone points out that cereals should not be cooked. It may, anything is made unnatural because of our habit habit of looking at things. According to our habitual way of understanding, we understand things natural or unnatural. See, a person who is in South India or near equator, when he sees an ice block and water, he says the ice block is unnatural and the water is natural state. And when the ice melts and becomes water, he says it has returned to its natural state. If you find someone who is residing near the North Pole or South Pole, he thinks the ice block as the natural condition because he should use some heat and make it water when he wants to drink water. He calls water as the melted state of ice. To him, water is unnatural and ice block is natural. In India, we take coconut oil into our hands and daily use it before bath to the skin. When it is midwinter, the coconut oil will freeze in the bottle in the form of a white pomade. Then we say that it is frozen. We apply heat and say it has come to the natural state. But if we go to the Himalayas or Blue Mountains in India, they will sell coconut oil only in bottles with wide mouth. Because according to them, the natural form of coconut oil is pomade and the artificial form is the liquid. This is because of our habit of looking at things. The mankind of our earth globe has habituated through thousands of years to cook cereals and eat. Therefore, when someone teaches us that cooked cereals cause diseases, immediately we think that there is something wrong with the brain of that person. I too thought like that in the beginning. But gradually we come to know, unfortunately, that it is very true. And we should remember especially the cereals that are uncooked, especially if we want to know the art of healing. That is, not only curing diseases, but also curing the body to be free from medicines. We should cure the body also of the medicines we have taken previously. Then only we can call it healing. Healing and curing are quite different. Yes. The process of cure is to rectify what is already gone wrong. And the process of healing includes the medical cures and the non-medical cures put together, and also the inequalities of the mind. So yoga practice is one branch of healing because our mental health is improved by it, and we will be free from our likes and dislikes, our jealousies, suspicions, fears, and our impressions about others. And this also is included in healing, whereas medical cure does not include this. If you say, my friend is very jealous to an allopathic doctor, he says, let him hang himself, because he does not know that it is a disease. If you say, I am not sleeping for 6 months, the allopathic doctor becomes angry to you and says you are thinking too much in the nights. That's why you are not able to sleep. Don't think too much in the nights. Try to think less and try to sleep. Poor fellow, he does not know that Sleeplessness is a disease which should be cured with medicine or adjusting diet. The allopathy doctor has no solution with him for sleeplessness or too much of thinking in the nights. Therefore, he will prescribe you some sleeping pills which contain all sorts of dirty narcotics. And the consequence is we go into coma-like condition by the medicine, and the next morning we will call it sleep. But you are not refreshed in the morning because it is not sleep but it is poisoning of the mind. But since allopathy has no other solution, it prescribes only such dangerous things. So curing is like this. But healing includes making you free from the habit of sleeping tablets also. If someone comes to you and complains that he is addicted to sleeping tablets for 10 years and that he was not able to control the habit, then if you know the method of how to make him free from the sleeping tablets, and if you apply to it and become successful, it is also a branch of healing. So healing is much more broader in its application than cure. Healing is essentially spiritual even when you use medicines. When you stop using medicines unnecessarily, sometimes there is the need of medicine absolutely. Then you can't say, I heal him spiritually. Spiritual healing includes your knowledge of when to use medicine and when not to use medicine, when to use surgery. All this put together should be only 10% of curing of the illnesses. The other 90% of curing diseases can be done and should be done with food, with water, with sleep and rest, and with the changing of the work of the day and changing of the hours of our work. You should be able to rearrange and readjust this data. If the person is sleeping less than normal because of the nature of his duties or work, you should be able to suggest him how to sleep his regular hours. But if he is not sleeping sufficiently because of some hobby with the society, for example playing cards or chess, then you should be able to educate the patient and make him feel the need of sleep and make him sleep. And if someone is sleeping too much, that is, there are people who sleep from 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Friday to 10 a.m. Monday. That is, when they leave their office, they come home and they have no weekend because they are weekend. They go home and they begin to sleep and they wake up only on Monday morning. Such people have a set of diseases which are essentially of toxic nature. One secret is the more you begin to sleep, the more you want to sleep gradually. You don't feel like coming out of sleep if you begin to sleep for more than normal hours. Why? This is because if you sleep abnormal durations, in the meanwhile the body is producing its own excretes, the urine and the stool, and the excretes of the skin through the sweat pores, and the lacrimation of the eyes, ears and nose. All these things produce their toxic matter to the mind and give a weighty feeling to the mind by making the etheric body dense, dull and heavy. We do not understand etheric body at first, and all the toxic effects are only due to etheric body and not due to physical body, because the toxic condition can never be examined under any instrument. You can examine clinically the results of toxic condition, but toxic condition should be understood only by seeing the patient. If you take 10 or 15 radiographies of the head of the patient, you cannot find any toxic condition in it. Sleep produces excess of toxic products, and when the sleep is of a normal duration, then we will wake up in time and clean the body of the toxic products timely. And if the sleep is of undue duration, the body enjoys the presence of toxic materials in it for a long time. The result is the mind is clouded with the toxic effects and it conveniently wants to sleep for some time more. And the result is sleep and sleep until death. So, you should be able to suggest all these things to the patient, educate him properly without feeling delicate and nervous and without any obligations with him. And you should be able to make him do the needful. Great ignorance about food habits, habit of sleep and habit of sex are there with us through centuries, and you should be able to know and practice and educate others if you want to be a successful healer. And then actually the process of spiritual healing will be discussed as the final point. When you have made yourself free from disease, when at least you are not having any nervous disease like tension or oversensitiveness or obsessions or psychosomatism or feeling restless in the presence of new people, then you begin to heal in the procedure given by the scientific texts of healing. One method of healing is to make the patient sit comfortably, close his eyes and submit his mind totally to the mind of the healer, and the healer makes a touch of his palms to the patient, and wherever the affected parts are there in the body, the patient keeps his palm there for some time, inducing healing magnetism through the palms with his thought power. Daily do this for 5 minutes to each patient, and in the end place your palm upon the head of the patient, keep it for some time and then induce health magnetism into him with the power of your thought. The patient will be healed immediately if the disease is an immediate disease, and if the disease is a slow disease you should do it daily for some time and gradually